Today I'm going to be sharing my top tips for growing long, natural, 4C, healthy hair. So as you can see, I have very thick hair, right? I don't have that loose curl pattern. I got that strong, kinky, beautiful, thick hair from Africa, okay? So today I want to share my tips that have helped me because I've been natural for a long time, over 10 years. And if I would have known these tips, I definitely would have way longer hair. Not that it's about length, it's definitely about healthy hair. That's most important. But it would have been easier along my journey. So here we go. And I'm not planning any of these tips. I'm just doing what is the most natural to me and what has really helped me, because you don't really got to remember when you actually experienced it. So number one, I would say getting your ends trimmed regularly. So when I first went natural, I didn't really go to the salon a lot, honestly. I would just do my own hair. But when I did go, it would be to get my ends trimmed. So my ends wouldn't be broken off and in bad shape. And I remember when I went to my hairstylist, she was just like, Kat, your hair is like, your ends are so split. And she was just like, you have such beautiful hair, but like if you don't get your ends trimmed, you're just gonna keep on growing your hair for no reason. Every time you come and see me, you have to cut off, more than an inch because it's been so long since you trimmed your ends. And back then I was in college, so I was just, balling on a budget. I wasn't trying to see her all the time. But now I trim my own ends. I trim my own ends about every 6 weeks. But, you want to make sure you listen to your hair. If your ends aren't split, then you may not need to, trim your hair. But if you just look at your hair, you can tell that your ends they look brittle. You can tell when they need to be trimmed. Just make sure you pay attention to it. So number one, regularly trim your ends. Number two is to have a hair care regimen. So what I mean when I say this is you always work better when you have a plan around what you want to do. You have a plan, and that's what makes you stay more productive. The same thing with your hair. You need to have a plan for your hair. This is like one of my favorite tips. So for example, every Sunday, I like to deep condition my hair. And what I do is I take my favorite conditioner and I just literally drench my hair, and it just feels so good. I'm just like, I put it in my scalp, I rub it in there, and I make sure I get it on my ends. Make sure you get the deep conditioner saturated on all your ends. Then I take a plastic shower cap and I place it over my head. My third tip would be moisture, because when you put the 2-strand twist in your hair, after a couple days, they'll feel really, really, really dry. So my favorite, I know you hear put moisture in your hair and it'll grow. You probably hear that a lot in a lot of other videos, but my favorite tip to actually make sure your hair is getting enough moisture is I have a spritz bottle. You can get a spritz bottle, like a plastic spritz bottle for your hair from any, beauty store. And I fill it with warm water and my favorite essential oils. So whenever you feel like your hair is just feeling dry, and you can tell when it feels dry, usually at night before I go to sleep, I'll just spritz my hair with the spray bottle, and then I'll put my bonnet on, and then I'll wake back up, spritz it again. Okay, so whenever your hair is dry, just think of your hair as a plant. No pun intended. Whenever it's dry, your hair needs water every day. So make sure you're drinking enough water and you're spritzing your hair with water, because to keep your hair moisturized and hydrated, you're just like a plant. It needs it on the outside, but then make sure you're giving your enough hair internally by drinking enough water as well. So let's see what else. We talked about getting your ends trimmed regularly. We talked about protective styling. We talked about having a plan with your hair. We talked about moisture. My last tip would be no heat. Yes. And this, I would say this is the most important one as far as like how I grew my natural hair is because I used to get my hair flat ironed a lot. This was a long time ago, back in the day in high school when I would get sew-ins. But once I went natural, I stopped flat ironing my hair, and I stopped blow drying my hair on the heat setting. So I honestly only blow dry my hair out like this when I'm gonna trim my ends. Otherwise I don't use any heat. I really do believe that's how my hair grew so quickly, was I didn't use any heat and I kept a lot of moisture in my hair with my leave-in conditioner. I was always touching my hair to see how it felt, and if it felt dry, I would either spritz it with some water and oils or apply leave-in. My favorite leave-in right now is the Shea Moisture Jamaican, I believe it's the Jamaican castor oil infused leave-in treatment. It's like a mask leave-in. That's the one that I use. That's like the only one I use right now. So just always checking. I always was just checking my hair. If it felt dry, applied moisture, and I didn't use any heat. Now that I think about it, it's like, that seems like it would be hard to do, but for the styles that I wore, I didn't need heat. I wore a lot of wash and goes, which is a really healthy, easy, protective style. Like, you know, the pineapple where you just take your hair and you just put it up on, literally on the top of your head. I would wear my hair like this a lot, but it would be curly because it'd be wet, obviously. But yeah, so those are my tips. Definitely want to have a plan with your hair. Figure out when you want to do your wash day, when you want to do your deep conditioning treatment for sure. And I hope those tips helped you. They've definitely helped me a lot on my hair care journey. Comment below and let me know what is your favorite tips that you have done, or if any of these tips help you. If you can agree, like, yeah, that really works, just let me know in the comments. And I'm looking forward to our next video. I will probably be chatting with you about maybe self-love, maybe relationships. You have to tune in next Wednesday to find out. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to The Tribe.